everyone. So welcome to the introductory session of Python programming language. Today here you can see a beautiful snake. Python was actually developed by and he started developing in late 1980s by Guido von Rossum. So don't get a misconception that by seeing a snake and he's fond of snake and so he kept the name as Python. But it's not true. So Guido von Rossum was fond of one web series called Monty Python's Flying Circus. So he was very much keen about, very much interested to watch that web series, and out of love on that web series, he named this programming language as Python. So now today in this session, we will be learning what is Python, why Python, what type of language is Python, and what are the applications that are built using this Python programming language. See, Guido von Rossum has beautifully quoted one statement. The joy of coding Python should be in seeing short, concise, readable classes that express a lot of action in a small amount of clear code, not in realms of trivial code that bores the reader to death. Such a beautiful quote of what he has stated. So today we will learn what is Python. What type of language is Python? Python is an interpreted language. Interpreted language is a one which compiles, or what I can say is which converts the high level language into machine level language line by line. So Python is one such interpreted language. It is also a combination of object-oriented language, and it is a beautiful high-level language with dynamic semantics. So dynamically it starts reacting to the conceptualizations of Python programming syntax and semantics. And it is also a scripting language, and most of the things with Python is used as a general purpose language. So it is not designed or developed to perform any specific operations. So when you look at why do we need Python programming and why do we use Python programming? So as you can see, we can give hundreds of reasons why Python programming. It is very easy to learn. Easy in the sense it has a very simplified syntax, and it is almost very similar to English like language, and even a non-technical IT background people can easily learn Python programming, which is not at all as difficult as the C++, Java or any other traditional programming language. And it is relatively fast, which has strongly typed data types. So it means it's either strongly typed is more dynamic. So no need to be very specific with the languages of syntax or type of the code semantics that we will be using, and it is the most widely used programming language, and you get a lot of open source documentations that are available. So that is the reason. And if you can look into this real-time scenario, most of the companies are developing their applications using Python programming, and it also helps any people who are looking into career of Python programming with very high salary. And it also offers good security, and the graphics and visualization of the analytics of the data can be done with this Python programming language. And it is also very well known for scripting and automation. So let us deep dive into Python programming in the further classes with the extensions of any other concepts. So when you come out with the history of Python programming, it was actually started in late 1980s by Guido von Rossum, and the implementation began, and the official release of Python programming was done in Netherlands at National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science at Netherlands, and it was done with a whole team headed by Guido von Rossum. And Python 9, it was released in 1991 with version 1, and later in 2002 was released, and currently the version of Python programming language that we will be using and we are using is Python 3. So then what type of language? Is it object oriented? Is it procedure oriented? What type of language is it? So when Python was developed by Gudor von Rossum, he was actually worried. If you could have just recall the statement that he has made, he wanted to build a programming language which is very simple and anybody would be able to develop such applications. So it is a combination of functional programming features from C. So it's a part of procedure oriented language, and it also takes the features from object oriented language like from C++, and it also has some part of features like Perl and Shell scripting languages, and also it takes a part of features from modular programming like Modulo 3. So it means Python is not a very specific type of language which is general purpose language, and it is a combination of procedure oriented, object oriented, scripting language, and also as well the modular programming features. So then why Python is in demand? Why is that everyone? We can see that Python is everywhere. Why Python is having so much of demand? It is because of its simplified syntax, and the more emphasis is on natural language, English like language, and which can be used and which can be learned even in schools and colleges prior to graduation. Many of them could be able to design an application using Python, and it has a lot of open source documentation, libraries, and abundance of frameworks that are available in the market, and it was developed by many such developing communities, and it also has a portable features, and you can see that these days the most of the web development applications are designed using Python programming. And analytics of data, so it may be in health, it may be in agriculture sector, or it may be in any sort of field. Analytics of data has become very simple because of this Python programming language. And it is also most of the companies or most of the organizations are implementing Python programming in machine learning application, artificial intelligence, for building robotics type of applications, or it may be any other data science applications. So let's now look into one of the statistics. If you Google it, you can find a lot of statistics that are available with respect to Python program. One of them was picked by me to just know Python is the ranking of Python. And Python is basically used in developing some client server side applications, web development applications, and desktop applications. But designing a mobile based applications are very low, as the Python type of language do not support the Android or iOS applications. But still, we have some sort of cross-platform frameworks which helps in implementing the Python language in even that OS like Android and iOS. So if you can see statistics of this, you can see, and even now R is also the very most popular language, R language, but because of its difficult syntax, we are going for Python programming language for analytics of the data. And if you can see, even though you have a good ranking, but base of the core development of the applications are always built, most of the time are built using C, C++ or Java. So then if you can see the applications, real-time applications of Python, it is used in web development, it is used in desktop-based applications, that is used in software development. So when you take an example of automation, so when you are developing a software applications, most of the automations are done through some frameworks which were very cumbersome, and it was not at all automated. And while there is one such framework in Python called Selenium, and where you can automate the testing process, and many of the industrial applications are automated using Python applications. And when you come to the sector of education, even in education, it may be attendance monitoring system, it may be examination systems like such, and many of the schooling education as well as the college education are designing the application softwares using Python programming, and database access. So further we will look into this, how the database access. If you can see our most of the used applications like Netflix, Facebook, Instagram, then if you can see Pinterest, so most of these are database application. A huge number of photos and videos will be stored in this database. So in order to monitor that, so we need Python programming. We need to monitor, maintain, service, everything. So when you go to the network programming in game development, though in game development completely you cannot design using Python, and few part of the applications are designed. So you have some applications like Pygame, PyCap, Panda 3D. These are some open source libraries that are available to integrate in a cross-platform network. And even in graphics, 3D graphics, you can see the Python programming language. And you can see even beyond this, we cannot name one or two. We have beyond the level that how Python is booming in this current industrial scenario or trending market. It is also used in data science. It is used in business application. And most of the rocket science they are developing, they have their own either customized open source frameworks, or they would have not open source, maybe the customized proprietary applications for rocket science and business applications. It is also used in scientific and numeric calculations and many as such, and it never ends. So then if you can see the real world examples, YouTube, Netflix, Spotify, all of you are using in your day-to-day activities, and how this is being involved in designing an application. So if you can take up this Pinterest or Netflix, Instagram, Facebook, here the lot of data available is in the form of either photos, videos, which requires huge data storage. But this Python programming has come out with a very beautiful ways of accessing these data in with respect to server management, service management, and especially the content management. And you can also get lot of recommendations when you are browsing over your apps like Spotify, Netflix, Facebook, based on your previous history of accessing the data. And even Amazon, Reddit, YouTube, and especially Google. So in designing a Google search engine, so they have used Python and AI and robotic projects, and most of these are developed using some frameworks called Django, Flask, and many as such. Django is now like very trending type of framework where you can design a full stack development projects, which comes out with the front end design as well as the back end part of storage. So you can see even automation and testing. The industrial application uses the automate the testing process. It is used in ethical hacking, robotic type of applications. They are using in quantum computing and blockchain technology, where you can see the blockchain has come out with a very trending thing in the digital world. So few such frameworks. There are actually two types of frameworks. One is full stack frameworks. Full stack frameworks comes with both the front end design, the service management or the server management, and it also come at the back end content management, where you can store huge data and access it with better analytics and other things. And non full stack frameworks are the one which is used for some specific purpose, where for example for developing machine learning, data analytics applications, etc. So these are few such frameworks, web-based frameworks that have been used by many such organizations. Django, even most of the students, freelancer students are it is for them. It is easy to learn this framework. And in designing some mobile-based application, you have Flutter, you have Q, etc. And Django, Pyramid, Flask are the most commonly used Python frameworks, and even non-technical background students can also easily learn without having any background of programming languages. So when you can see this, for example, this is another example in robotics, and some of the frameworks that have been used by this for developing robotic based applications are PyRobot, Dart, Sofa, Pyro, etc. And there are many such proprietary applications as well that is being designed only for specific purpose by the organization. So when you take up the next stage, success stories, I hope all of you know about AstraZeneca. So this was the company who had who had saved many of our lives by developing the vaccines during the pandemic scenario recently. So AstraZeneca is one such company who had also used Python programming for designing or improving their existing computational models. So they also said that it is more robust, extensible and maintainable. And it is also used in medicinal purpose for analyzing the type of disease, and it is used in robotic surgeries, mechanical ventilators for analyzing the data. And there is also one more framework called BioPython, and it is especially used for biological computations, so that people with the background of biotechnology and they want to design, they also have the framework called BioPython. And you can wonder how that we are also able to use the Python programming language in the study of psychology. PsychoPy is such one example of open source library or framework for analyzing the cognitive neuroscience data with respect and experimenting the psychological study of several patients. Then what are the features of Python? Python is easy to learn. We already have discussed about this, and with a simplified syntax and semantics, and the compilation process is very easy since it is interpreted. So every line of code will get automatically converted into machine level language, and cross-platform based applications frameworks are supported with Python programming. And it is free in the sense it has lot of library documentations that are available in the open source. And when you look into the GitHub application, GitHub web-based application, and most of the projects that are uploaded in this GitHub, the storage repository is most of them have used Python as a basic language to dump their projects in the GitHub. And it is a cross-platform. You can always say only with Python, the pure traditional Python programming cannot have so much of versatile features, but when you are doing with the cross-platform based frameworks, then Python is going to support any type of operating system. It is going to support any type of application as well. And the memory management is also better with respect to this programming language. Then what can you do with Python? What all the applications? We have also discussed several applications already with Python programming that is being used in real time. So you can build the web-based applications using some frameworks like Django, Flask, and you also have Pyramid, and you also have Web2Py. And the very beautiful part of Python programming application is web scraping, an ethical way of extracting the raw data information from the websites. And it can also be used for content management. So when you take up Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, so those most of them have database applications, and that can be designed using Django framework. And we also have in artificial intelligence and machine learning SciPy, NumPy, then Panda library, several libraries which helps in data visualization and graphics much easier without any very difficult way of the syntax and semantics, because the lot of predefined functions that is being developed in these libraries will help us in designing the applications in a better way. And when you come to desktop based application, we have a framework called Kinter. And for mobile based application in 2022, this framework called Q has been becoming very popular, which is a cross platform based network applications. And others, apart from Kinter, you have PyQt, and you have some other like Request, Twisted, Nose, and there are a lot of frameworks that are available and being developed by a lot of community of the Python developers. As I said in the initial part of my session, that Python is everywhere, but Python is not everywhere. So then we will see what are the limitations of Python. It has some slow execution speed. So though it is a very good combination of all type of programming languages, and it basically because of the interpreted language, so the execution speed of Python is very slow. So in huge applications, Python alone cannot be used, and basically the part of threading has lot of error, lot of difficulties, and it is not at all native to mobile environment. In the sense, the Android or iOS do not support any such interpreted language. So if you really want to design an app using Python, then you have to go for some cross-platform network like Flutter, so where it helps you to design and convert that into a specific based OS. And the consumption of memory is very low. So consumption of memory is also, the performance is also very poor. Memory consumption will be too high with respect to the program, so it is not supported with mobile environment. And access to the database, because basically the pure Python programming language doesn't have any specific application layer to store the database. It has to use a third party application to design or have a content management based system. So one such example of cross-platform for mobile frameworks is Q. You can also design your mobile-based application by learning this framework and designing it through. Maybe in 5 to 10 years down the lane, you will be seeing even everywhere. Now the Python is going to be booming in the whole world with its versatile nature of the syntax, semantics, and the conceptualization. So you can do, in the next session we will be learning about we will deep dive into the concepts of Python programming, and we will learn the language constructs of Python programming languages. Thank you.